What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we have something new to show off with the Market Watch. So without further ado, let's dive into the video and talk about it. So guys, if you want to help support the channel with no extra cost, please use the affiliate link down below. It costs you nothing to support the channel, and it's just a great way of doing it while you're checking out cards that you are always ready going to be paying for. So without further ado, let's get into it. So guys, I wanted to show off the new thing that was brought to my attention by none other than tcgmarketnews.com. The link will be down below, so use that when you're going to be wanting to, and save that link to your homepage, your phone, or anything like that, because this is a phenomenal website, to be honest with you. I love it. It shows losers and winners of all time. You could easily just set up. They are working on getting older sets, so you can easily go back to, let's say, 2020, you know, in the last year, or by percent, you know, or by money. It's all crazy, and you can break it down even into rarities and stuff like that. So like commons, winners of the year, basically, you know, last 7 days for, let's say, commons. Let's see if it'll pop up. No. They are working on a few things right now, but it's starting to come through nicely. Like, a lot of information is coming through a lot, and you kind of get to see what this works. And what's really cool is if there's anything you want to buy on the loser end or on the, you know, winner end, all you have to do is just click the image and it pops right up to the site. So it's pretty cool that way, and hopefully you get to use this as a way of gaining some decent traction and understanding. A lot of this Market Watch today was brought by this site, so I wanted to show it off. But what's really cool is when you sign in and lock into your account, you can create watch lists of cards you really want to get and stuff like that. And it's not just for the Digimon TCG. If you do Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, One Piece, Flesh and Blood, Lorcana, Celestials, all these stuff add up to being really awesome. So definitely use the link down below in the description to help support this amazing website. This will help everything across the board. So use that link and be able to track everything you want to track. Now, let's get into the Market Watch itself. So first off, Close is our girl. Remember her being like 13 bucks and I told you guys, wait it out, wait it out, wait out. Well, I wasn't crazy, right? So yeah, she's down to $3.50, which is really good to see her come down. And this is probably the best time to say waiting is king sometimes. Don't go rushing into something blindly just because the hype is there and then be like, well, I had to spend $13 on this. Now, I knew she wasn't going to hold long term, so it's pretty good to see her come down. So just keep that in mind. Oh, rude. So on the Europe side, we're looking at €2, €3. I expect her to kind of just stay in this 2 to 3 range for a bit, just because she is such an integral part of the deck. Koromon from Ultimate Cup across time BT12 already down to, you know, under $9, which isn't bad, which is pretty solid actually. To be honest with you, being under $9 is pretty good for an Ulti Cup card. And again, I mean, it's not super played, but again, we'll see where, you know, Shine Greymon kind of goes. You know, if this thing would stop bouncing. You know, taking a look though, €5 to €7, kind of in the same ballpark. Mother D Reaper Championship 2024 Tamer Pack. This card is on a down climb, in which the site actually showed us. So from back in January for a month, it has gone down to being like a $17 card, starting to tick under 15s, which is good to see. We want to see these cards come down because at the end of the day, that means this card isn't as highly coveted, and it's really cool. I really do like Mother D Reaper and everything like that, and I need 4 of her for one of my decks, but outside of that, we're just going to wait it out. Now, Europe side, 9 to 10 to €17. Now, Diaboromon tokens is another one that people have been waiting on to come down a little bit. I know Diaboromon will get some more hype in especially BT22, because we know that Diaboromon is in that set. Just because Arata was an integral part of the story, he ran Diaboro. And again, we should be seeing some sort of eaters in that combination, so it'll be pretty cool to see across the board. So 8s to, you know, 9s. Europe side looking like 10 euros to 6 euros. Now, Digimon X Antibody Alternate Arts Chain of Liberations are down to under $12, which is kind of weird, right? Gallimon being one of the strongest decks of the set in the current formats. I'm surprised this thing is cheap. But you know what? It's good to see Digimon X on the lower side because, again, players sometimes, you know, max rarity and everything like that. It's a nice little reprieve, you know, kind of cool. Just another thing that was just showing up on the, you know, site. So just keep this in mind, you know, 13s to 14 euros. Now, Shadramon promo 1110 is just completely bought out. It exploded. We knew this was going to happen. There was no way this card was going to stay under, especially with the Virus Imperial Dramon hype behind it. You know, there's just no way in heck that these cards were going to stay cheap. And you can even just see its counterpart, like Dino Beamons are going to cost you some money. Now, Europe side, 25 to 40 euros. Now, Gengamon alts are starting to climb up, and the site definitely showed us that. So we're at 25 to 32s. No surprise here, just, again, great card for the up-and-coming Royal Knights deck. You do play this at a full playset, and a lot of players didn't realize that this card was going to go back up, and I knew that's why I held on to my one copy, and I'm just waiting for the right time to offload it. Europe side, 14 to 25 euros. Now, Sengumon alts release special booster, shooting up as well. This is just because of Seadramon, and because of the Seadramon, you know, Giga Seadramon that's coming out this coming set, just leads to being something a little more pricier. Europe side, 6 to 10 euros. Now, Seraphmon across time pre-release cards going up as well. This is no surprise, as because Black Blocker shenanigans with Black Hybrid with Mother D Reaper all just force block, and then you kind of just use your shenanigans to ace them to death. You know, 15s to 17 euros. I mean, $17 is nothing to scoff at. Just a really solid card. Europe side, you know, 5 to 8 euros, and then goes up to 24 pretty quickly. Deltamon, Digimon promo cards. Remember this card that I told you just wait this out because there was no reason for us to be hammering for this card. You know, this thing's already down to 10s to 11s. And again, it's not even seeing super hyper competitive play, and the, you know, card wasn't really needed. The Shadramon is coming, and by the time we actually have all the pieces, it's not going to be that expensive. You know, taking a look here, you know, 8 euros to 9 euros as well for their counterparts. I'm not surprised. Now, War Greymon alts are still climbing up, guys. This was no surprise, especially once we found out there was no, you know, the new War Greymon alt isn't a reprint at all. It is a completely new card. So War Greymon's getting some decent promos ahead, and it just comes with the territory. Now, Europe side looking like 25 to 30 euros. Now, Galactimon Dimensional Phase BT11. This is a card that I think you probably pick up 2 of, to be honest with you, because whatever new Galactimon we get is going to be super important and integral to the strats. So I think this is going to be the backup, while the other one's going to be, you know, the full play set. So just something to think about, especially because Galactimon here is really good, and probably both will be phenomenal, but we'll just have to wait and see that out. Europe side, 24 to 31 euros. We could easily become this price range, and it's very rare for us to be lower than them. Now, Lady Devimon is another card that's been tinkering away and people picking up. Again, she is seen in, you know, Mastemon, but you also have other key factors with this as well. You know, Lady Devi is always an integral part to, you know, any, what is it, Lilithmon strategies and everything like that. You do possibly play this, but it's just a cool collector piece, right? Now, Europe side, 10 to 18 euros. Analog Man Event Pack 5. This is Dimensional Phase BT11. This one you should be watching a little bit closely, just in case they announced that Analog Man is getting a card in the EX9 set, which, you know what? Mugen's coming back full strength, and I'm raring to go for it. 24s to 26s. Europe side 16s to 18 euros. Now, Machine Dramon is Seed Apocalypse BT pre-release card. It's definitely started coming down, actually, which is good to see. You know, this thing was sitting at 3 to 4s, but we're now starting to get under that. You know, we got one listing for basically $3. You know, pretty good to see it starting to come down from that $4 range, which we want to definitely see. I mean, it's an integral piece, right, for the Apocalypse deck. Now, Europe side looking like 40 cents to 98 cents. This is where we're kind of seeing the normalcy for Europe side. Now, we do have Legend Arm Alliance. This card has tanked down in the recent months. You know, remember, this card was sitting at like $3 in April. You know, March, April. And now look at it, it's 65 cents. Again, not a super played card, but again, it could eventually come back into the fray, right? You know, this was not a super hype card to pull, but at the end of the day, it's what we got. You know, 30 cents to €1. Now, Balphamon Rage Mode is something you guys should be watching closely. This card is under $1, but once we get Balphamon X in any capacity, this could easily shoot up. And just be ready for that. So I'm making a delicate, you know, recommendation. Pick up a copy, or, you know, pick up a playset because they're under $1, just in case you want to build Balphamon. Europe side looking like €3 to €4. Now, Caramon released Special Booster 1.0. Definitely seeing it tank, which is good because this thing was above, you know, $2, shooting, you know, ridiculously at 7s back in March. Now it's tanked down back, being realistically $1.50. So it's just something you want to think about, especially because this is the original card, you know, gold bordering, everything like that, the original rare style. Now, Europe side, €1 to €2. Now, you have War Greymon Across Time BT12. It's under $2. It might be something you think about just in case for War Greymon shenanigans. I think this is one of the better War Greymons to actually have in your list. Now, Europe side looking like €2 to €3. Yo Lee, remember Yo Lee being stupidly expensive? I sure do. So taking a look at her, you know, starting out the year at 22s, they're finally coming down to a reasonable $2 to $3. I told you guys, wait it out. It wasn't worth paying that 22s. I know the hype was for BT16, but it wasn't worth it. And it's good to see that she has come down. Europe side, €8 to €9. Now, Balphamon Sleep Mode Event Pack 6, another card that if you guys are planning on max raritying Balphamon, it is definitely $25 a pop right now. And it's starting to disappear off the market. So if you guys have it, probably good to sell it, right? I mean, they're not really moving in the $25 comfortably. They move under. But again, all it takes is a good amount of hype and boom, this thing explodes again. So just keep that in mind. Europe side, looking like €2 to €3 to €4. So it's perfect time for you guys to be picking this up at playsets to make sure you have copies. Now, Magnamon X Record is looking like a 50-cent card. Remember this card being stupid expensive at 12s? Now look at it, it has fallen again because it's not seeing any play. I mean, the new support could lead to seeing some play with this card, but I highly doubt it. Europe side, €1 to €2. Now, Creepymon's another one that has an X antibody form. So, again, this thing is a 35 to 45 cent card. Just picking up a playset of this thing and just sitting on it just in case is not a bad thing, right? I don't think it's something you just buy out completely just because it needs to be, but you never know if Creepymon X will combo extremely well with this card, right? So I don't want you guys to be like, oh no, the secret's now almost, you know, $30 to $50 now, because who would have thought? So I'm just giving a small recommendation. Pick up a couple copies, sit on them, and once we get Creepymon X, this might be a card we use, it might not be. I don't know. I won't be able to tell you until it actually comes out, but just something to think about. Europe side, you know, €1 to €2. Again, picking up a couple copies just to make sure you're safe is always good. Now, Larbermon Promo 080. Remember this card being a little bit expensive. This card now came down, which is good. I mean, not many sales on it, but it's definitely come down. Again, from being a game card, it's pretty cool to see. Now, Europe side looking like €1 to €2. Chaos Dramon, Dragonic Roar, EX03. Make sure you get a couple copies just in case with the new Mugen support. It's not bad to have extras of this card. Now, Europe side looking like €3 to €4. Now, Higurumon Seed Apocalypse pre-release cards, something you just should probably be watching closely just in case, depending on what the Mugen deck looks like. Again, it's a really powerful card and it searches most of your pieces. So, I mean, this is the max rarity piece. Europe side, €3 to €4. Diaboromon Alts, Infernal Extension, EX06. Another card that started climbing back up once, you know, the Diaboromon hype is going to get to it. And again, it's one of those cards I think maybe might be a 2 of, especially if we're getting a full new Diaboro. Depends on what the lineup is, because Diaboromon Ace might be the better one long term, with this one being a good backup. Europe side, 19 to €20. Now, Marvin Jackson alts under $12, guys. You know what? I think that's pretty solid for a price for this card, especially if you guys are planning on playing the SOC black base. And you never know with this card, it could lead to being something comboed nicely with the new Mugen. So it's just something to think about. You know, Europe side looking like €10 to €14. Fang Longmon textured Animal Coliseum EX05. This card is at $5 to $6. This is something, you know, over a year ago, we had it at 20s. Now came down to being like a $6 card, which is nothing wrong with it. Again, players like Fang Longmon. You know, there is a ruin mode of this card. So eventually this card will get bought out and go back up to the $20 range. Europe side, 12 to €18. Now, Buffamon Rage Mode alts are at 15s. Again, another great card you probably might want to pick up just in case. I mean, you never know what Buffamon X is going to do, but most likely it's going to be able to combo in with its old support and lead to being something crazy shenanigans. Europe side, though, looking like 25 to €36. High Commandramon Championship 2023. They're under 15s, so they're getting under $16, which, again, pretty solid. I mean, I remember trying to get copies of these, and people were pushing these at like 30s. Europe side, 9 to €10. Now, taking a look, Metal Greymon Ace English exclusive. Again, a high rarity card you might want to have. You never know. I mean, being under, you know, $16, under $20 for a high rarity, you know, English exclusive alt, not a bad trade, right? Now, Europe side looking like €38 to €48. You guys don't have it as good as us. Now, Zudamon Ace alts are down to the 10s. Remember this thing being quite expensive too, like closer to 20s. Now we're kind of under that. We're starting to get to 10s. Now, you know, Europe side, €20. Yeah, matches there. Lord Nightmon Aces are under $5. You know what? This is probably a good time for the alts to be picked up. I really do like black based. So this one is, you know, with the Dark Nightmons and stuff. I think this is pretty cool to have. Europe side, €7 to €8. Now, let's take a look here. You have Chaos Dramon X Antibody Event Pack across time. Again, remember this thing being like 12... People were trying to push this thing for stupid money, $40 and stuff like that. Was not paying that. We're down to 2s, which, again, this is the Event Pack 7. So, taking a look, Europe side, €1 to €2. Again, kind of got sidelined when you have a great texture version in LM with the, you know, $4 range. Again, I actually like the texture one. This is another thing you should probably be thinking about picking up for your Machine Dramon support that comes out in EX09. Europe side looking like €1 to €2. Guys, hopefully, guys, that is for the market watch. So guys, go check out TCG Market News. The link is down below. So use that in the description, and I will have it as a pinned comment. And we'll be using this for a good while because I want to see and test the parameters and stuff. And hopefully he'll update it so the commons will start appearing, the rares will start appearing, everything will start appearing. So more consistently. And I really do like the winners and losers. So it's definitely a great way to kind of just see where things are going. You know, it kind of does have some uncommons and stuff like that in the last 7 days. maybe we can get to seeing a year worth of uncommons. All time. Uncommons. That's weird. Okay, there's some glitches on the site still, but I'll definitely let them know about all this stuff. But I'm really excited to see where things are going, especially because this is such great information across the board for a lot of players. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!